So what do I mean? Well, this is the learn, unlearn and relearn cycle. Now, as I've just said, learning for all of us is something that we can really easily kind of grab hold of and engage with, isn't it? We all know what it means to learn something. We hear something from someone and we learn something new. We read something, we watch something, we listen to something, we go on a course. You know, today we might be learning something. It's the acquiring, the addition of knowledge and or skill on top of what we already have. So it's acquisition, it's acquiring, and it's building and building and building. However, the brain and who we are as human beings, our brain, our cognition is not infinite, it's finite. So as we're building and learning, acquiring skill and acquiring knowledge, what we're doing is we're just adding on top and on top. What we need to be doing as well is we need to be letting go. We need to be questioning our mental model in terms of our current mental model and letting go of what no longer serves us. And that's the unlearn stage in order for us to relearn. And a very, very simple example of this that I give everybody is that if you think about driving a car in the UK, now you drive a car in the UK on the left-hand side of the road. But if I was to go on holiday to Europe, they drive in France, as an example, they drive on the right-hand side of the road. Now, I've been driving since the age of 17 for many, many years. So how I drive here in the UK is automatic pilot. It is the acquisition of a new skill and I have that knowledge and it's embedded within me. So it's automatic pilot. But all of a sudden, when I go to France, I'm not just relearning how to drive on the right-hand side of the road. I am unlearning driving on the left to driving on the right. I have to keep reminding myself, don't drive on the left, don't drive on the left, you've got to drive on the right. That reminder, that constant reminder of not go left, keep to the right, is the unlearning element. And that has got so much power for us if we want to humanize transformation and help people to come on the journey of change and transformation with us. And we can think about it like a software update. So those of us that are in the world of, you know, transformation projects, those of us that might be have a history in technology or technology change, you know, we can think about learn, unlearn and relearn just like a software update. And it's just a sense of, you know, software is constantly updating. And the features and functions of the old update are no longer needed. We let go of them, but we let go of them in order for us to relearn the new features and functions of the update. And a really great example of this is just thinking about Microsoft, thinking about the evolution and the history and the maturity of Windows is absolutely fascinating. You know, if you think about back in the early 2000s when Windows version 3.1, that was a big, massive pivot point. Now, Windows had been around for many, many years prior to that, but just thinking about version 3.1, where all of a sudden this sense of modernity is a really, really big shift. Things were in color, we were able to drag and drop, we weren't necessarily having to really take on process steps because things were becoming automated for us, that we were able to do more click and use. And then of course in 2015, we have Windows 10 release. Obviously there's versions in between. And the Windows 10 release was really the start of the real scale of the app revolution for Windows. And we're thinking about Office 365. You know, it's been around for a long time. But if you think about it, how we have individually ourselves naturally gone through the learn, unlearn and relearn model based on our use of Windows, we do it. So a very, very, very important element is to get people to recognize that we all do this naturally as human beings. As human beings, we are not just always in learn mode. We are not just always in acquisition of and skill. We're not just adding. What we're doing is we are also releasing and updating. We're releasing, updating, learning, releasing, updating, and learning. And if we can start to think about this more consciously, help others to think about this more consciously, and to use this in the design and delivery of our digital transformations, oh boy, number one, we humanize. Number two, we accelerate success. And number three, we're able to achieve agility at scale, because that's what this is about. This is the human version of agility. You're thinking about agile methodology, you're thinking about iterative design, you're thinking about incremental design. Both those words apply to the learn, unlearn, and relearn human mental model for agile. So it's the, it's the application of that methodology to the human. Another example of just thinking about, how we naturally do this is thinking about your own use of email. So whatever technology you use for email today, now, I will ask you a question. What were you doing and what were you using 10 years ago? And I bet you bottom dollar that you were using it in a slightly different way, slightly different layout. Maybe you might have been using Hotmail 10 years ago and you might be using Outlook today. But the key thing is this, that you might think that nothing's changed, but every time Gmail and Outlook give an update, the layout changes slightly, or the way that they're automating it and they're serving up different features and functions, we are letting go, unlearning what was yesterday, and we are starting to relearn the new operating system, the new features and functions. So we're doing it every single day. But the key is that when we are applying the learn, unlearn, and relearn model, when we're applying that to projects